What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Anthony here, back with another video, and today I am going to share with you guys the 7th Gen Camaro rumor that's been floating around the internet, in my opinion about it. Because to me, I think it's some crap, and everybody just believing the hype. So keep watching and listen to my opinion. Okay guys, let's get into the nitty-gritty about this Chevrolet Camaro rumor that's going on. And to me, I think it's a bunch of, BS that's floating around. Whoever decided to throw up this rumor to cause gossip, and they saying sources, but nobody don't know what the sources is really about. And I don't think GM is really going to go on a hiatus on the Camaro. The Camaro came too far. And as looking at it, yeah, when people like to look on paper, like the sales didn't do well, the sales of what it was competing against at the time, it didn't do well. But at the same time, I mean, there's not really a market for any of them. So if you want to look at sales, the sales for the Dodge Hellcat, the Dodge Demon, you want to look at the Ford GT350 and GT500 that's coming out, there's not really good sales on that either. Because if you look around, how many people are buying those particular cars? Being realistically, it's not really practical in today's time. So really, the SUV and the truck market is really king right now. So when we looking at sales, I think that's irrelevant, and I think that's pretty much like a cop-out way for everybody to say, oh, GM not doing well, they're going to delay it. No, that's not true. I mean, they probably have other things lined up. Maybe they're going to, stop making a model for 1 or 2 years just so they can give the car enthusiasts that Z28, because everybody thought the Z28 was coming out. They really did. But what came out was a ZL1 1LE. And you see how well the ZL1 1LE did. It's like a track monster if you wanted that particular vehicle, and you could beat the snot out of it and nobody can compete with it. Literally, like, it was this track monster. The Camaro is just that type of car. It was an all-around track vehicle, and it was a street performance vehicle. And I think people get caught up in like what Dodge like to do. Like, okay, they had a 707 Hellcat. Okay, yeah, it was nice to have a Hellcat, but the Hellcat is really not what it's up to be in reality. It really can't hook well. You got to get a different set of tires, and then coming out the box, this Camaro can really compete with an Hellcat. I mean, you might say you have your own opinion about it, but all I have to do is throw a supercharger on here, and I'm really competing with the Hellcats. It's really not that big of a deal, because the Hellcat is a heavier car. Point blank period. And looking at the Ford is a nice car. People like to go, everybody has a little fan base, but people like to go for it, because they can see out of it. And I think it's a nice, don't get me wrong, I think it's a nice car. But if I had to get one again, it would be a GT350, because I feel like I want that extra dampers and stuff that they put in it. But at the same time, I'm not a Ford guy, because looking at the interior, I feel like that's where Ford cheap out on. Like, they like to keep you in this retro look, but it's not really retro. I just feel like it's a laziness on their part when it comes to development. My bad, as I'm looking around, I just turned on this dirt road and I need to get the hell off of it. But I feel like that's where Ford lacks. So it all depends on what you're looking for. And competing against Ford right now, this Ford and Chevy, it's always going to be this pony wars going on. And this, 760 horsepower, wow, it's not that far from GM, because always GM is not going to give you all of that horsepower just because you want it, especially if it's not going to optimize it for the car and like twist the chassis. That's point blank period. Like, again, like when people had, when the Camaro came out and it was 455 horsepower with the Cadillac platform that it was on, even Motor Trend, and everybody was like, man, it could take an extra 200 horsepower, 300 horsepower. And look, they came out with the ZL1 Elite. So my point is, and the ZL1, and my point is that horsepower isn't everything. It really has to do with the horsepower is really, that's at the crank. But when you pushing it to reality, I don't think that GT500 would be what it live up to, especially being track capable and like street performance is going to be one or the other. So I had to see what it's like on the road. Not saying that it's going to take over the market, because I mean no car is going to do that, and I think this is the first time Ford is trying to take a leap with the Corvette and go against the Corvette ZR1, and they want to think they can beat the Camaro automatically, so because they have more horsepower. So it's a lot going on in the back end, and we'll you know, listen to it when time goes on and when more statistics and more news come out from both companies. So that's my opinion on it. And I don't think the Camaro will be delayed. I just think GM is just going to perfect and make sure when they produce a car that it's going to be what car enthusiasts really want. I mean, far as when it comes out with the refresh of this 7th gen Camaro, when it comes out with the first looks of it, it's going to make sure that it excels. And who knows, it may be an electric version too that they decide to come out with. Nobody knows what GM has underneath their sleeve except for them. So I wouldn't lean towards them just yet or back them out because we think Dodge is doing good and we think Ford is doing good, because that's not really the case, and the market for them is not really that big, especially what's being advertised. And you probably see a lot of Dodge people around, or Dodge, you know, cars around. That's because that's the only type of muscle car that can hold 4 people or 2 people comfortably. Like most people have the Dodge Chargers saturated. I mean, so people that's getting the Hellcats and so forth, is it a good car? Yeah, it's probably a good family car that you can have a little bit of speed, but with the market being so saturated, it loses the value. Same for the Dodge Challenger. Everybody want a Dodge Challenger. Yeah, it has two seats in the Demons, but I mean, compared to what's around, it loses its value because some people really can't tell the difference, and it's just so many of them out here. You don't see too many people with the Camaros, which I think it's unique in its point, unique in its time, and yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Like this video if you think on the same accord of my opinion, or you want to talk about it down low. And yeah, stay tuned in the next video.